The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Spokane Fire District number 9, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32850. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting with the front bumper. In the cutout section, you'll find 2 tow hooks located in the front, passenger and driver side. Located in the center, you'll find your Whelen PA system and emergency siren. Located on the grill of the apparatus, you'll find 2 forward-facing emergency warning lights. Onto the front, you'll find your headlights and turn indicator. Just in front of the front tire on the body, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Moving just over the top of the front tire on the actual fender, you'll find your turn indicator. Moving up onto the driver's side is where you'll find your air intake. And then moving just to the very back side of this image, or right side of this image, you'll find the release mechanism for your hood. Located in the front is the pull handle to allow you to tilt that hood forward once they've been released. You do have Alcoa wheels and Michelin tires. Moving now to the cab of the apparatus, you'll find a convex and flat mirror. You also have keyed door locks, in addition with grab handles located on the cab body. As we move to the steps under the cab area, you'll find LED lighting for step lighting in addition with perimeter lighting. As we move to the incorporated steps into the fuel tank, you'll find ultra low sulfur diesel fuel fill location. It is the silver cap. As we move just to the right, you'll find the blue cap, which is your DEF location. As we move to the door at points of entry, you'll find these warning labels. Also grab handles, and also your door lock in the upper left-hand corner with a door latch directly in the center. As we move just inside the cab area, let's first look at the dash area, upper left-hand side of the image here. This is the keyed ignition for your vehicle. As we move down just to the seat on the right side, you'll find this yellow placard, manufactured for Spokane Fire Department, indicating the date of manufacture, March of 2019, the job number 32850. It also has gross vehicle weight ratings, cold tire inflation, and also the VIN and fluid information for your vehicle. Let's now move back outside here. Just in this same vicinity, you'll find the master battery switch down at the lower section of this image. As we move to the seat itself, you'll find comfort controls regarding an air ride seat system, and also a lever for adjusting front to back for your seat. Let's now move back up to the dash area. You'll find a few items in this area, but first let's point out this placard. This is the height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating. As we look to the dash, you'll find transmission, water, and oil on the left. Located in the center, tachometer and speedometer. To the right, you'll find air pressure for front and rear, and then you'll also find your ultra low sulfur diesel and also DEF level, diagnostic information above the speedometer. As we look to the right of the dash, you'll find your filter minder. This is for the vehicle air filter. To the right, you'll find your traction control, and just down from this location, you'll find your Allison transmission pad. Moving further to the right, you'll find 3 indicators, first starting with the pump engaged, OK to pump, and OK to pump and roll. These are all 3 indicators, not push-button switches. To the right, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Moving to the right, there are a set of switches here, your PTO pump, high idle, and alarm reset. Moving further to the right, you have a digital information display. Moving further to the right, you'll find 3 additional information lights. This is a do not move truck, indicating that you have a compartment door open or ajar. Also an OK to engage the high idle, and then at the very bottom, your battery switch. On to the left, you'll find a set of switches here regarding mirror heat, your transmission, and also interdifferential locks. To the right, you'll find your Pierce information regarding seat belt, red indicating someone in the seat and not belted, green indicating they're in the seat and belted. As we move to the top, you'll find climate control,
Down lower, you'll find 2 power outlets for 12-volt access barrel style, and then you'll find window controls and also electric door locks. Let's move overhead of the operator. First on the left-hand side, general set of switches, and then also in the center a set of switches. We'll cover those next. Starting on the left with the emergency master, lower zone, rear zone, 2 future switch locations if necessary, a selection switch between siren and horn. On the center console set of switches, you'll find the rear scene lights. You have a tremendous amount of additional switches if necessary, and then to the right, the siren control and PA speaker system. Let's move outside of the cab to the midsection of the apparatus. We'll find at the very top 3 sections for hose storage. First, starting with the number 1 crosslay, number 2 crosslay, and then a dead load, individually color-coded and labeled. Starting on the pump panel, we'll start at the very top left with the pump discharge. Moving down, you'll find your pump intake. Moving further to the right, as we start at the very top, kind of difficult to see in this image, there are a set of switches here. These are your panel lights and additional future switches if necessary. As we move to the blue module, this is your water level in the tank from full, 3/4, half, quarter to refill. Beneath that, you'll find your vacuum and pressure test gauge ports. And to the right, you'll find your pressure throttle governor. This is the pump boss. If indicating in yellow, this is a check engine light. In the center, you'll find your digital readout for the RPM. And to the right, if illuminated, it would be in red. It is a stop engine indicator. As we move down to the blue section, you'll find a menu to allow you to scroll through the various menus. Located directly in the center, you'll find a engine diagnostic for oil, water, and also battery. To the right, you'll find a silence red button, which will indicate for silencing the audible alarm. Moving down, you have 2 options, either pressure mode or throttle mode. Those are the 2 control modules with a digital readout in the very center. Moving to the right, prior to engaging the throttle, ensure that the throttle ready switch is illuminating green. This is an indicator. And then as we move down, you'll find a preset switch, which you can allow you to preset pre-designated pressures or throttle control. Down in the lower section, you'll find the throttle and also a push-in for idle. Down at the lower section, a little difficult to see in this image, this is a audible alarm. There is an outer bezel which allows you to dampen that alarm. To the right, you'll find a pump engaged indicator. Let's move down from this location. Starting on the left and moving to the right, you'll find the number 1 crosslay, number 1 driver's side discharge, and number 2 discharge. You'll also find your tank refill and recirculating line. Moving to the left, you'll find the number 2 crosslay. Moving in the center, you'll find an engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. Moving further to the right, in green, you'll find your large diameter passenger side discharge. And then moving further to the right, you'll find your tank to pump. And just beneath that, you'll find a warning indicator here regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing a pressurized cap, and this is a warning label. To the right, you'll find your primer for your fire pump. It is a push to prime with priming instructions of at least 1,000 RPMs. Moving down, you'll find the 2.5-inch number 1 driver side. You'll also find the Pierce minimum operation schedule for 150, 200, and 250 PSI. As we move to the right, you'll find your large diameter pump intake. Moving further down, you'll find the battery receptacle. This is when plugged in for shore power. And then to the right, you'll find a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. Down in the lower right corner, you'll find your pump drain. Let's go underneath this location where you'll find the number 1 driver's side discharge drain and the auxiliary side discharge inlet drain. To the right, you'll find a perimeter light. Let's take a look at the body. There are 2 sections for storage locations here in these roll-up doors. You also have midship emergency light at the lower section, and then also bottle storage locations for SCBA bottles. Here's a close-up here of the first compartment. This is just in front of the rear wheel. And then as we look, there are also turn indicators located just in front of the rear wheel also. Once again, Alcoa wheels and Michelin tires. This is indicating your bottle storage location, and then just beneath that, you find a side-facing emergency warning light. As we move to the rear section, this is the rear compartment. You do have LED lighting inside the roll-up compartment door. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus, first starting with a few things on the right and left side, starting with the brake, turn, emergency light, and backup lights. Your vehicle is also equipped with a ladder to gain access aloft. You also have 2 scene lights located at the very top. There are 2 tow hooks located on the passenger and driver side or right and left frame rail. As we move to the very center, you'll find the chute location for your water tank. In this, there is a release mechanism to allow the lock to be unlocked and then allow the release mechanism. On the right-hand side, you also have a 2.5-inch direct tank fill. As we look underneath the vehicle, LED lighting at the lower section for perimeter lighting. Close-up here of the lights regarding the turn, brake, emergency light, and then backup lights. On each the passenger and driver side locations, you'll find rigid hose storage locations. As we move to the back, you'll find the hose bed light. This is a puck style switch. You also find a adaptable inlet for your direct tank fill if necessary. These are those tow hooks located on the frame rails. As we look to the center section, this is the safety mechanism for the release of the lever to release the main water chute. On the right hand side is a 2.5-inch female direct fill for your tank. Let's move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle at the rear section. You can see just inside the chute there are additional extensions which allow you to gain distance away from the rear section of your apparatus. Let's now move to the top of the vehicle where you'll see the ladder on the left side, 2 scene lights located at the very top. As we move up on top, you'll find firefighter safety strips here. These are reflective strips for allowing you to know where to walk for the safety of your firefighters. As we move to the very front, this is a top fill tank location for water. And then you also have a work light at the very front section or bulkhead of your apparatus. This is the fill location for your water tank if you choose to use top fill location. The center section is the overflow. Just a top view looking at your cross lays, you can see there are 3, 2 currently plumbed and 1 dead lay. Moving to the cab, your emergency warning lights. Let's move back to the side of the apparatus where you'll find the side location for the lock to allow you to have your porta-tank stored. Those are the lock mechanisms allowing it to drop down for gaining access. Once again, in the very rear is the access point for your rigid hose storage for suction. Moving now here to a close-up of those images to get a little bit better idea of those release mechanisms to allow that folding tank to drop downward. In between the duals, you'll find LED warning lights and also bottle storage location for SCBA bottles with tethered safety straps. Moving forward, I would like to point out this label on the right. Be cautious as to where you park your vehicle. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperature. That's what this warning label is regarding. Let's look now to the forward section. This is an additional forward compartment, LED lighting inside this area. We're now back to the cab section where we'll talk a little bit about some of the items within this area. Let's go mid-location of your pump area. Starting up at the very top, there are 3 crosslays. Once again, the dead load, number 2 and number 1 crosslay. As we move downward, you'll find access panel with this pan door to gain access behind the pump panel. Just down from this location, you'll find your large diameter discharge. It is green in color. And as we move further to the right section and down, you'll find the large diameter pump intake. And then as we move to the right, you'll find the number 2 passenger side 2.5-inch discharge. And there's also a warning label here regarding pressurized hazard. Be careful when opening pressurized caps. There are associated hazards with that. As we move under the vehicle, you'll find all your associated drains. This is actually on the side panel. As we move under the vehicle now, you'll see additional perimeter lighting. Let's move back to the front section of your cab. Just a quick view. As we look to the step area, just underneath the steps for personnel, you have additional step lighting and LED lighting here for your perimeter area. And then here's a close-up of those step areas. Let's move now just inside the cab to the passenger or officer section. You do have a foot pedal located here. This will control your electronic siren. It is a foot pedal activated by pushing. Moving overhead in this section, you'll find additional storage over the officer seat, in addition with access to the siren and PA speaker system. Let's move back down to the dash. Lower section, you'll find an audible alarm and also your vehicle data recording port. General view here of the exterior front section of your apparatus. Congratulations, Spokane Fire District number 9, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32850. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or any future questions regarding your apparatus, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Thank you.